Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. That I had chosen for my project is called Admirable Evasions by Theodore Dalrymple. This book actually shows you how psychology as a science has managed to affect so much of our morality and how we perceive things. If you would see the very weird way I have appeared, this indicates two very strong concepts that are based in the book. One of an apparent me and one of the real me. Now, if you were to see that, I will illustrate to you now what the apparent and what the real me are through a few examples. Imagine you come home from work one day. You're very frustrated due to some problem at work. While you're going out, you shout at the security guard. Would you have done that on a normal day? Would any one of us admit that we would have done something like that on a day? No, we would not, would we? We would say that that was not me. I would not have done something like that. Inside me, I know that my real me, is a pure person. I don't get angry. But something that day provoked my apparent me, and that was what made me angry. I am not an angry person on my own. I am pure. Taking another example, most of us would have been cheated out of money. Now let us say that I was the person who cheated you out of that money. What would I say? It wasn't me. I didn't do it. I am a good person inside. My real me is a pure being. I had some problems. I can't explain myself. I mean, some circumstances made me do it. I would not have done it on my own. I am a pure person. Showing another example of spouse abuse. This is very common, sadly. And if, for example, what would the husband be thinking? He would say that I am a very great person. I mean, I love my wife. I don't have any problems. It's just that my apparent me is not what I actually am. My real me is pure. It's just my apparent me. That's a bit different. These people don't realize that what I actually am is the real me. Now, coming back to the apparent me and the real me, I hope you have understood by now what the apparent me is and what the real me is. Now, having this method can actually provide some problems which are very harmful to society. Now, if you see this on a global scale, the Christian missionaries in Africa, what they have done, let me show you a small video.
The subsequent exploitation of the African people and the uprooting of their spiritual values by Christian missionaries would leave a permanent European stamp on the continent.
The mindset is the barbarians are backward and inferior, and for their own benefit we have to uplift them and civilize them and educate them and so on. The psychology behind it is kind of transparent. I mean, when you've got your boot on someone's neck and you're crushing them, you can't say to yourself, I'm a and I'm doing it for my own benefit. So what you have to do is figure out some way of saying, I'm doing it for their benefit. And that's a very natural position to take when you're beating somebody with a club.
As you can see, the Christian missionaries, the clergy actually justified their act by convincing themselves that this is for the good of the natives. We are actually helping them. What the missionaries had done was they had this. One missionary actually said that if we must force them and torture the natives to bring them to the path of salvation. They, as a nation, as a group, actually believed that the real me was good, that they were doing it for a very good purpose. But the apparent me was actually very different from what they thought it was. Now, this problem can actually be experienced in nations like the old British empires and the French empires, who, as an apparent nation, who, as a real nation, thought that they were benefiting mankind and benefiting their own selves by doing all this, but the apparent selves showed a very different story. Now, one of the personal problems that these can lead to is a total lack of responsibility. If you were to ask people by this real me concept, what it shows is that people do not believe that something is wrong with them. They uh, they do not believe that they are wrong, so they don't try and find something wrong inside them. They go and decide to blame factors which are outside their control, which leads to them sinning more and not having an effect or control inside them, which could lead to them not having a total lack of responsibility for their sins. They are, a person who is under this concept also does not try to make an effort to better themselves. For example, if you were to ask a woman who would backbite, what she would say is that my real me is actually pure. My real me is very good. I'm an excellent woman. But what some people don't realize is that they see my apparent me and they judge me as they think of me as being bad and talking about other people and talking bad about people. What I actually am is pure. My real me is really good. Now, something that you would realize in this is that the Quran actually, and this is the topic of my D3, which I'm about to show you. What the Quran does is it offers some commandments that are so precise that what they do is they serve as a solution for so many problems. What the Quran does is offers one commandment which manages to strike at the root of many problems. Now, for example, this shows a graph. If you were to take, for example, riba, this would show you that when Islam forbids riba, what all evils it manages to remove from society. Now, you don't have any arrogance, you don't have hard-heartedness. All these evils are removed by just one example of forbidding riba. If you were to take music, for example, you would see that it keeps you not listening to music. It actually gets you closer to the Quran. It doesn't make you stimulation seeking, and so many other evils are just stopped by one single commandment which is given by Allah. Like this, for example, if you take tattoos, it stops you from having personality conformity. It stops you from getting infection. It stops you from having gold deformation. All these all these evils are just uprooted by just having one solution. So, like that, the Quran offers one single solution to stop this entire evil of real me and apparent. The one solution that exists is by knowing something, by knowing that the apparent me and the real me, both of them are not true. By knowing this, you would come to believe that what I actually am, is this. The real me is the me that is present here, the one with the soul. We do not need to make a real me or an apparent me to convince ourselves of what we are. What we need after finding out this solution is that we need to accept something. We need to accept that we are a self that consists of the nafs, that we can get influenced by waswas, by shaitan, and there are certain diseases in our heart. But what we actually must learn to accept is that we cannot go around blaming any of this. None of this is the root cause of our problem. What we actually must accept is that there is evil in our own heart, that our heart consists of something that actually has evil seeds in it, and that can, if we do not better ourselves, that evil will continuously grow. Now, I'd like to give you the solution, one simple technique that was practiced by the Sahabas and the Sufis that came after them, not the deviant ones, but the ones that followed the path of the Sahaba. They practice a simple technique called muhasaba. This was just consisting of when you the example given is that of a Sahaba who used to every night before going to sleep, he used to forgive those people that he had felt had caused him some pain, and he used to seek forgiveness from those he felt that he had caused pain to. And the Prophet ﷺ had promised him Jannah for this. So this practice of muhasaba actually consists of just removing all the rancor and anger that you have of someone. It consists of believing that there's certain responsibilities that you have not fulfilled upon others, seeking forgiveness for those, and seeking forgiveness for the responsibilities that others have not fulfilled for you. Now let me end with a simple quote of Umar radiallahu anhu, who said that take account before you are taken account of. Jazakallah.